34. My husband was Dr. Carl McQueen. At 34 years old, he took his own life. 9. That's the number of beautiful years Carl and I were married. 2. Carl and I had 2 children, Eliza and Leo. Both were under 5 when Carl completed suicide. 15. 15 is the number of suicides that will occur across this globe in the next 10 minutes as I'm speaking to you. Hi, I'm Kirsty McQueen. My husband was Dr. Carl McQueen, and 4 years ago, Carl completed suicide by hanging. I'm not here today, though, to talk to you about suicide. I'm here to talk to you about the McQueen Charter. So in the years since Carl's death, I've been collaborating with the East Anglian Air Ambulance Association on the charter. It's inspired by Carl, and it aims to guide helicopter emergency medical services on the best way to support the mental health of their staff. It has been acknowledged, though, as more people have found out about it, that perhaps this can be more useful on a more wider scale, and so at present we're developing the charter with that aim in mind too. So for you to understand a little bit about the charter, I think it's important that you understand first about Carl and his circumstances. So Carl, well, I think he was an incredible human being. I might be slightly biased, I did choose to marry the dude after all. But to me, he was awesome. He was so exceptionally altruistic. He just wanted to make the world a better place. Carl loved J.K. Rowling, and some of his favourite books were Harry Potter. You would think that being a doctor, he would perhaps be really pleased if his children followed in his footsteps and went to medical school. But I think he secretly had his fingers crossed for Hogwarts for him. Anyway, back to J.K. Rowling. And she said that we don't need to have magic to change the world. We carry all the power inside ourselves already, because we have the power to imagine better. And Carl had such power because he had incredible vision. I think despite him not being a wizard, I believe he was magical. He made all my days feel enchanted anyway. But despite all this, Carl did have concerns about some areas of his work. These concerns were based around the concept of banter and what constitutes it and the impact it can have, and also around how people are supported during adversity at work. And he must have felt these things were really important for us to reflect on, because in the hours prior to his death, he wrote and sent an email, and he distributed this widely across his workplace, detailing his concerns so that people could hopefully reflect on these, even for a future that he knew he wasn't going to be part of. Carl imagined better. So you can get some insight into that now. I'm going to read you a little extract from the email in Carl's words. The fact that people would roll their eyes when I made points, either in meetings or on shift, or simply walk out of the room when I walked in, has therefore been deeply upsetting. Having my professional credibility openly questioned and mocked in front of a room full of colleagues in a hospital CT room as I walked in was also profoundly hurtful. On shift, there have been a number of things which I am sure were simply just meant as banter, but which have upset me greatly. Having my property vandalised and mouldy chicken wings left in my mug at the back of the cupboard, I am sure were just pranks, as was having child on duty scrawled on the rota next to my name. Please bear in mind, however, that not all of us are blessed with such a thick skin. So after this email came to light, after Carl had died, there was discussion as to whether these actions constituted banter or whether they were bullying. The question I think it's important to ask is simply, were these actions kind? To my mind, they weren't. To me, kindness brings with it hope and strength and light. I believe that kindness is a superpower. It can mean absolutely everything to somebody and cost virtually nothing, because often it is just the small things that can make the biggest difference. And hopefully that's where the charter comes in, because it's full of small things that will hopefully make a really big difference. So the aims of the charter are to stop external factors in a workplace affecting a person's mental health, to provide opportunities to help recognise if problems are occurring, and to put in place best practice to support anybody that is struggling. As I mentioned, it's not specific to Carl, it's inspired by him and two of his main values, which are helping other people and the importance of self-reflection. At the very centre of the charter, we put a person. Now, this person, despite doing the best that they can, may be struggling. Around the person, there are 4 sectors. These are 4 key areas we've identified in a workplace that can be influenced to provide the best chance of achieving and maintaining a positive mental health of employees. People struggle with their mental health daily. Quite a few people, I'm one of them. These people often go to work for the majority of their day, and hopefully employers can help them rather than hinder them. The nature of Carl's case meant that it gave us a chance for a learning opportunity with the email and things that he sent, and Carl was really passionate about education, and as well as all the other academic things that he did a master's in education, and in one of his assignments he wrote, "It's a creative mind that finds a way to craft a learning experience." And hopefully we've been creative here and we've learned from what has happened. So the charter was developed by an amazing lady called Sarah Atkins, who works at the East Anglian Air Ambulance Association, and she had all the organisational expertise to develop this. And the kids and I have come in and we brought our personal experience, so hopefully together we've created something that's really comprehensive and robust. I mentioned the kids because despite them being young when Carl died, they've always been given age-appropriate information around what's happened. The charter's no different, and they wanted to be involved, and they have been, and they want to be involved in this today. So I'm going to hand you over to Eliza and Leo now.
Daddy was a Jedi. No, Daddy was a doctor. No, a Jedi. He wore a t-shirt that said so. Daddy was a doctor and was very wise. Like Yoda? Okay, yes, a bit like Yoda. Yoda said, share what you've learned. Since Daddy died, we've learned a lot. And Mummy's learned a lot too. What we've learned can maybe help people so they don't feel like Daddy did or die like Daddy did. That's why we wanted to help with the McQueen Charter. It's very important. We did the artwork. Look. The person in the middle may be the person who needs help. This could have been our Daddy. It can't now, but it could be someone else's. May the Force be with you.
So, as I say, the charter's about helping and supporting people in the workplace with their mental health. And for that to happen, mental health has got to be spoken about openly. And it would be really hypocritical of me to sit here and say, do as I say and not as I do. So I'm going to speak to you now about what I've learned about mental health since Carl's death, because since Carl's death, I've been diagnosed with anxiety, depression and PTSD. I've learned a lot, as you can imagine, and I could spend a long time talking about it, but I'm going to tell you the biggest lesson I've learned. And the biggest lesson I've learned is that although people might think being open about your mental health displays some weakness, what it really does is allow you to share a strength. So when I'm open about my mental health, either intentionally, as in something like this, or unintentionally when the PTSD comes out to play in public, and there are people out there that have to come to my aid and be absolute heroes, and then I have to explain to them why they've been incredible heroes to me. What has happened is that people have responded with such empathy, with and often with gratitude, because they've been allowed to become part of my story, but they've opened up and often shared their story with me. Because they felt that because I've done that with them, they've been allowed to feel that they could do it with me. And it's allowed us to connect in a really positive way, and it's empowered me, and hopefully it's empowered them. And I hope that potentially this can become the norm if mental health is spoken about more openly. So just to sum up, I always finish my talks on the charter by saying there are some people that you meet in life and you just want to make them smile for the rest of their life. Carl was that person for me. Unfortunately, we lost Carl's smile, but hopefully we won't have to lose anybody else's. We can save other people's smile, and we can do it in his name with the McQueen Charter. for listening.